See the point in painting a floor because you can choose a color of like flooring, and these days like you can pretty much, if I can click on one of these, it has it more colors. Like, okay, marble tiles can't really do too much with, the flagstone you can't really do too much with, and then you have carpet. And if you really want to go colorful, like you can literally like even select what color it was to save yourself time and shit. Like this wasn't used to be a thing. I think it used to be like what, red, blue, green, and maybe gray. I feel like I think there was white in there as well. It was like white, gray, maybe black-ish. At least like a dark charcoal or something and stuff. Maybe I should grow some so how do you say that? I know I'm not going to be able to like read pronounce it, but I call it tincotta. And I know that's wrong, but that's what I'm calling it. um, so whatever it's called. Yeah, it's clearly tincotta. Because like, as I said, like I'm not the best at like pronouncing shit. Could be a great opportunity to talk to them. Yeah. I'm definitely we're gonna swing by that on the way home for sure. So like I said, like when I was in primary school and stuff, my primary school decided for the first couple of years of my schooling to do this like creative classes essentially. So near enough was good enough with English. And so like if you spelled cat K-A-T, it was correct. So I have a lot of trouble like identifying how to sound out a sentence, a word, or a name and stuff like that, because I can technically like say it multiple different ways. Like it's fucked me over for life essentially, and there's nothing I can really do. I spent like the whole rest of my life trying to like fix it, and it's not fixed. So yeah. That's why, like, when somebody comes in, if I'm fucking up your name, I'm so sorry. It's not intentional. I just have no way of understanding how to fucking pronounce certain, like, word letter groups and stuff together. Yeah. And so I've heard about that being done. It's really not popular. The creative learning thing was supposed to be for years 1 to 5. During the time that I was going to school, it was brought in, but it only stuck around for 3 years. It impacted, basically, like, if you were in year 3 or 5 or anything like that, like, you still got it. So years 1 to 5 were part of the program. And I was in year 1, and I think my brother was in, like, year 4 or something. And, like, all the shit that he was learning, he basically had to unlearn the following year, but he had like a base of 3 years before he got to that. So he wasn't hit as hard with it, but my first years of schooling, like my year 1 and 2 had it, and then by the time I reached year 3, they nixed it, and then year 4 was extremely hard because it went back to the regular curriculum. And then, yeah, I basically played catch up for the whole rest of my schooling and stuff on my primary language of English, you know. So, yeah, definitely if, like, I know that there's nothing most people can do if you have kids and shit, but if you hear them bringing in, like, creative learning, fucking run, because that shit's gonna, like, basically fuck up their vocabulary and comprehension and shit for much of their life. I must have missed a couple of spots under here. There we go. A lot of parents were really angry about it because accurate education and whatnot. Yeah, well, that's the thing is, like, I would definitely get in trouble at home for, like, saying cat is spelled K-A-T, but, like, at school, you get praised for it and stuff, and, yeah. So it was kind of conflicting. I also had the extra struggle of, like, when I was in year 1, because like my parents are right-handed and left-handed, and I think I was born left-handed, but when I went to year 1, I used to look at whoever my parent was sitting next to me doing stuff, and I used to copy whichever hand they wrote or drew with. And because when I went to school, everybody was suddenly like mostly right-handed in my class, I was just so fucking confused. So I had that like extra thing where I was also learning to write right-handed in school at the same time as also learning incorrect English and stuff. The only thing that was the same from year 1 to year 10 or whatever when I graduated was maths. That's the only thing that stayed consistent, and I enjoyed math probably because of that. That it wasn't any more or less difficult from day 1 to the end of it kind of thing, you know? But yeah, definitely wasn't an easy situation. I need to get some solar into this place, realistically, because I kind of want to border the walls a bit, or like bulk down here maybe with some solar. I might put it on these like edge corners, perhaps, because if I was to build a wall up around this base, like we are protruding downwards, and I will probably maybe sandwich it in because I don't want them to be too spread out. But I do want to have room to like maneuver and shit. So I'm going to put a couple of solar in here. And maybe we might be able to fit it at the top ends too. I don't think we can fit it. We can't fit it forwards, no. But if I wanted to, I could probably get it down these bottom corners and it would probably work. So we'll see. That's going to cut into cotton on this side. Little bit. I think it'd be worth it to cut into the cotton down there. I'll still leave like maybe door situations and whatnot. So usually speaking, I never used to enclose like my geothermal generators, and I don't enclose like solar and stuff like that. I consider that to be collateral in a battle, but I do understand that I'm going to need to be able to keep most of the base at least up and running throughout the battles and stuff. Also, we're getting some Devil Strain in here too, which is going to be great. So yeah, I have currently got it on a 2-power grid that's divided at the moment. And if I can keep that divided, if one half goes down, we still have part of the base that we can kind of shuffle to. And it will become really clear soon when I want to put turrets up. Because I'm probably going to put turrets up on the outside, and then I'm going to put some turrets on the inside. Started walling off my geothermals because big raid targets. Often roof them too with only the one in the middle tiles over the vent itself unroofed. I actually considered doing that this time because like normally I leave them fully unroofed and it's not really an issue, but I was like, it would do the same thing if I just left the one square in the center opened, you know? I just kind of didn't think about that before. I don't know why. Masterwork, we got a flak vest. Also, I do hope that they're like at least putting on some degree of these like armor bits and stuff. I assumed that they want to. Probably. Also, cat's in here like snacking on stuff. And when I did that trade, where did it land? That's a fucking good point, isn't it? It should have landed nearby because I only have the one orbital. I've got the 2 orbital traders. So in Asura, I have this little issue where I have like my stuff keeps landing like stupidly far in the corners of the map because I have like such a huge base and shit, and it's always so far from refrigeration. Or like some, let me do an example. Some lands like here, right? Just as an example, and some lands over here. And I have to remember to look for both, you know? I legit got a mod that is just drop things here, circle like hitching post, so simple, much quality of life. Yeah, look, I know. Look, whenever I complain about something, I'm well aware there's probably a mod for it, or there definitely is a mod for it. But like, because Asura is a closed mod playthrough, I'm not adding anything to it. So whatever I'm saddled with is whatever I'm saddled with when it does stuff. It's kind of like how I said the other day, you know when they get downed in battle? I know that there's a mod that you can use to like auto-equip, like when they get up from hospital, they will go and pick up the weapon and put it back on and stuff. And I don't have that either. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind it not being there, but yeah. It still means that in like a huge colony, I have to sit there and I have to go, okay, well, I have to go and find everybody's weapons and stuff like that. But I see it as like a kind of like a expected disadvantage in the game. So, for instance, like I said, like when I don't cover or enclose solar, or when my colonists get down and then they don't go pick up a gun or a weapon or something, and then we get attacked again, I see it as potentially a disadvantage in battle, like a difficulty scaling for myself, if that makes sense. Like, otherwise, it's too easy to just play so comfortably and clean and stuff. Whereas when I've got I get a raid come in and then bam, I have like half my colonists don't have the guns. I'm like, fuck, I can't deal with X number that have come in, and it's a predicament and stuff. It makes it spicy interesting, you know? But yeah, sometimes it sucks, you know? I don't have the mod, but sometimes they just do it. Not sure if simple sidearms does it. I feel like that does it too. Yeah. Also, that polar tree being in front of that door seems very inconvenient. Maybe get that the fuck out of there. I'm guessing they're probably going to go put that inside, but if it dies off on its own, I don't really care. It'll be fine. Just keep my weapons stockpiled in my kill box. Once I drop the weapons, can just pick it up quickly and join the defense. So that's the thing though, is I don't use kill boxes. Like, in this particular run, I probably will have to, maybe. But at the same time, like, I'm so hesitant to do it because I don't want to. But I do know that when it comes down to the very, very final battle, I probably can't, like, hold on to that without like, having said stuff, like the kill box situation, because the what is it, the 15 days of constant waves of enemies and stuff like that, I do think would be a problem. Also, I do think that being up against the vent might be a problem. We'll see how that goes. I may have to put them sideways, maybe, and then like use that as a wall or something. Not ideal, but I could do that if I needed to. That's a thing. This is my little problem spot though, because I can't build on much of this. So it's like a big old opening. So I could either go forwards and like enclose this water as like a side nub, or I could internally enclose it, kind of thing. Kind of means I don't sort of want the soul where it is. I feel like this is not a good spot on this side. I built very close to this without really thinking that I was going to enclose the base at any point in time. But I'll do the best I can to enclose it. I feel like they're going to want to tuck in here. Or I could make this like a little leeching outposty bit. Maybe. We'll see. We'll get rid of this, because I can't fit that in there. Because I wanted to do this kind of double-walled-ish, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Put that there. Alright. So that's kind of what this box stand would kind of look like. I put some doors on it because I know I will forget. I don't super need the doors on it at the moment, but my colonists will need to get out of here at some capacity. I do think that I can kind of build in this space. I do think that this is very possible. What? Not that. Fuck that off. But I do want to get rid of this. I do kind of want to build in this dead center bit. I do need some rock and stone or something. Yeah, we could do it with marble. Yeah, I kind of feel like we might need some marble, you know. It's just a feeling, a bit of a sensation that I've got that like might need that later, you know. Yeah, you're right. I also am making the floor out of this too, so I know they're gonna like steal it for that shit as well. But I don't know how this is gonna go, because this is not like a perfect sphered outside type thing. Like, they may sit in this. Like, I kind of want to put... I sort of want to put a bridge in this spot. Like, just bridge this whole section. But then it's gonna become flammable. You know? And I don't super want to do that. The other thing too is I could put like flammable things on the inside. I'll see how I go with this. It's like, it's very, very open through there. Same as heavy bridges, only in Odyssey. Well, that was the thing. Like, when they announced that, I was like, oh, that would be kind of exciting, I guess. But I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be in this. And it was not. No, it was not. Definitely not. But I'm like, there ain't nothing I can do about that. I don't have any of the DLCs. Although this does look like we're going to keep some of the animals in here. And this is a more appropriate size area for them. And speaking of, I do kind of need to say I will want this planted, I will want this harvested, but I don't know if I want this replanted and harvested. We'll shrink it up a bit. It's already kind of roughly in the shape. But yeah, there was a few things that were added to like core game that weren't added like when Odyssey came out and stuff like that. Well, I might need that spot. There's a lot of things that I'm not really like torn up about. Like I don't care and stuff because like I already played the core game and it doesn't bother me kind of thing. If it bothered me, I'd probably have some of the DLCs, or I'd probably have more mods, or I'd be more willing to add mods and stuff like that, you know? I also want to disable royalty in most of my plays. It's kind of annoying. I've actually heard that a fair bit. I've heard like a lot of people either love or hate it. We got another Nichun and Lenza jokingly poking at her forehead. Terrible. Okay. I meant to go and find who that couple was. Fuck. Okay. Let's go find out who the new couple are. Lenza. What's it? That's Tamer. Shaman. I think you two might be the new one. Shaman sounds new. Let's go allocate a bed for Shaman. Or somebody's not with their partner. I don't know which. You ever think of getting any DLCs? Biotech is pretty fun if you like family-centered colonies. I absolutely hate kids. Ironically, Biotech is the only one I would never consider getting because, like, I fucking hate kids and babies and shit. But, like, no, not really. Like, I've had, like, a few people ask and or offer the DLCs and stuff like that, and I'm like, I'm just not bored of the core game, honestly. I don't see anything in any of the DLCs that I actually want, you know? Like, I don't see anything in, like, ideology or royalty or, like, Anomaly is the only one that's maybe got, like, some stuff because it's got, like, the darkness and the shamblers and stuff. I do find that mildly interesting, but all the research crap and stuff, like, not really. Also, whatever the things are, we have those rooms of, like, the little tormented things, like, shifting around, like, what the fuck? You know? But no, I am not really interested in any of the DLCs, especially since, like, because I'm playing core game, like, my mad squirrel. Alright, hold on a second. We should be okay with that. Somebody should be able to kill it. So, like, when you look at, like, the scale of, like, my core game, right? My main game. And then you go, like, I've been playing that for, like, nearly 2.5 years. And it's probably going to take me another 2.5 years, maybe 3, to get to landed ship and stuff. If I go up against the landed ship quest and then we fail, I will be starting again from the beginning with the exact same set of mods and the exact same original colonists for the most part. And that will take me possibly another, like, 5 or so years or something in the event that, like, we manage to get through the landed ship quest and stuff. Like, I also considered maybe on, like, the previous tile to that, I thought about, like, build the ship instead of trying to do the landed ship one. But I still think it would be the same kind of scenario. I could just be, like, slightly better prepared for it, perhaps. Whereas I also want to do, with the same set of mods that I currently have, I want to go through and attack all of the enemies on the map. And I want to try to wipe off their colonies off the map on my Asura game. So I don't know how long that would take. So basically, no matter what I'm looking at, I'm not looking at any new mods or DLCs for at least 10 years, give or take. So I just don't have interest in it at this time. So yeah, I just, like, I can't imagine one coming out and me being so wowed by it that I would stop something that I've been committed to for, like, you know, through like 2.5 years of whatever, you know. I I don't know. Just don't sort of play that way. Might actually cut this down on this corner. I just realized that I'm like, I could take this to like that instead of having this like little box. Although that couldn't be like a bad spot to like bring shit in, but yeah. We'll just cut the corner on that one. That will look a little tiny bit better, I think. And we'll get rid of these two spots. There we go. That looks a tiny bit better. Realistically, I could actually like mirror that to this corner for no other reason than I could mirror it. And then it would be like symmetrical shit again. Fuck it, let's do it. Let me take this line and let me... I might not be able to rotate the whole thing. Maybe. Can you copy that? Where is the thing on it? Oh, it's counting it up in here. Okay, hold on. I didn't realize that it was doing that. But yeah, no, as I said, like, no DLCs for me. Not for a long time. And I think by the time, like, I get to, like, maybe 5, 10 plus years into my games, because I've only been playing RimWorld for, like, 5 years as well. So, like, I have more patience than that before I'm going to get bored of it. But I think once I get, like, you know, a decade or so in, I might want to add a bit of spice to it. Make it a little bit more interesting, you know? But not at the moment. I also come from the era of, like, when games were released, they were full and complete, and you didn't have to change or you couldn't, like, change or add anything to them. So I'm very accustomed to, like, playing a game and being like, this is how the game is, and that just being how the game is, you know, instead of being like, a game comes out and it's going to change in, like, 5 months, 6 months, another year, like, 5 years from now, it's not the same game that I bought, kind of thing. I'm still not used to that at this stage. So it still irks me sometimes when, like, a game updates and I can't play it the way that I had been playing it for X number of years. Like, as I said, even though I can change all the colors of these lights, I'm still a little salty about it because, like, I liked being able to customize and mix them. I thought it was nice and fun and creative and stuff, you know? But yeah, like, games these days just do transform over the years and stuff. And most people that come and play RimWorld will start playing RimWorld and immediately add mods because it is the culture and it is normal to do in RimWorld, is to just have a lot of mods and stuff. So, like, when I started playing RimWorld, one of my mates was like, the mate that got me into playing RimWorld, he was like, oh, you're going to want to add, like, X number of mods and stuff. Like, you can't play the game without it. And I'm like, how about I just play the game as it is and let's see how I feel about it? Because, like, obviously if it's like, you know, hold on, are you the one that's, like, supposed to be in that bed? Hold on, I need to kick this person out of the bed for a second. Yes, get the fuck out of here, you lot. Go sleep with your partners and crap. Yeah, when it came out, I was just, when I got the game, I'm just like, you know, I'm just gonna play it as it is, as it was made, for a little bit and see how I feel. And basically, one of the things that I wanted to add in was EdB Prepare Carefully, because I was able to bring back in colonists from previous games. Like, that's not what it does, but that's how I use it. So I liked that. I added that. I obviously have, like, the mod that allows them to, like, drop everything, which they're that. But I think they added that to the main game anyway, so sometimes that doesn't work. And I don't know if it's the game or the mod. But yeah, I can basically, like, force shit off them, and I think that's kind of normal-ish now. And then deep stacks. Deep stacks allows me to, at the time, I never used shelves. I never used shelves before my Dryden location, which was the third one. And yeah, I just had, like, piles on the floor and they'd stack up to, like, you know, 10,000 in some cases. And I'm like, that's fine. The only problem I've got with that is occasionally I'll have, like, a stack of, like, 1,000 food or, like, I don't know, components or something, and somebody will go and kick the stack and I'll lose 1,000 food immediately, and I'll be like, fuck, okay, we're back into, like, the Stone Age with food and shit, you know. But again, it adds some fucking difficulty and, like, trouble and shit, so I don't want to, like, do anything to adjust it, because I don't want to do anything to adjust it, you know. But what else is the other one I got? I have I have got Dresser's whole clothing, which isn't on my Asura colony, but it stopped working at like 1.3 or 1.4 or something like that. So yeah, I don't super worry about that either. Just because, like, yeah, why not? I might just chuck these in here. A couple of these bedrooms are going to have heating, and if the rest of them are just not. I don't think I've got like actual heaters that I could plop into everybody's rooms, but we'll put some heating in everywhere else for the most part. I'll do. And not that room. Some of my relationship hookups are so silly in this game. I think one of the things that helped win my lady is I had just ordered a beer at uni and she had to go. So I downed it in an instant and walked her to a lift. You know, that was one of those things where it's like you didn't stay there. You prioritized like seeing her out because she was more important than the beer. So yeah, I can understand that. I see how that translates. So why aren't you guys hauling shit all of a sudden? Is it that we have too much stuff around, or it could be that we have too much stuff around? This is where it's like, you know, like biotech has the little Roomba things. I'm like, I would love to have like just auto fucking skill on animals or something like that, where it's like everybody suddenly gets the ability to haul, which I think you can do with like the catalyst thing, which I think is part of Odyssey or something. Hey Alex, was it the lifters? Yeah, I think that's what they're fucking called. But that's fair. So most of my first run was mod free, a tiny amount. I think like 4 by the end, just quality of life stuff. So basically, I think my very first game definitely didn't have any mods. I think probably my first 3 games maybe didn't have any mods. I might actually put that as like the other type of cabling in here. I'm pretty sure my first 3 games definitely probably didn't have mods, but after like 1 or 2, because like I also tried to do like Ice Sheet as like one of my second or third like games. I'm like Naked Brutality in the Ice. I'm like I had heard of that back when like I didn't like look up anything. I'm like I've heard of this. I'm like I've heard it's fun. So anyway, I tried that as like one of my first few games. That didn't go very well, but that was when I came across Shizuka and I think Amiya and Acosta, which were like some of my first colonists and stuff, which was when I wanted to bring them back in because I liked them. And so like I had screenshots and stuff, and I just kind of went out of my way to try to like make them again. Also, I think this might link this place. I don't know. It should link it as top to bottom as well. So we'll have 1/2. Should maybe do it as quarters, I think, because if I don't put it in the doorways, it should quarter this place, hopefully. But yeah, I don't know. Since then, basically, like the couple of mods that I've had are basically what I've been rolling with, you know. So like that's what I've basically had. The only additional one I've had was the Dresser's whole clothing, which my mate was like, you're gonna want this for like in the prison and stuff so that like your prisoners can access clothing and shit. And all I found was like they didn't do anything. They didn't want to pick up fresh clothing. They didn't want to play with any of the shit that was in the prison. They just liked nice looking furniture and like a table to eat off. Like if I gave them a pile of food, like they'd go and eat that instead of like my people using it as an opportunity to like socialize the prisoner and stuff like that. Like I kind of like learnt the stuff. I'm like, I don't want that one. It's kind of useless because like all it would do is every side table in the colony, every dresser, everything like that would suddenly be a shelf. And that was like basically my first introduction to actually experiencing shelving in a sense. And I was like, I hate this shit. And then of course, like now I actually use shelves. It was so funny. The first couple of times I had people come in and they're like, why the fuck are you not using shelves? And I'm like, because they're fucking annoying and I hate them. I still hate them. I hate them so much. But anyway, you guys don't seem to like absolutely hate the sight of my colonies anymore. So I do find that very funny. This seems to be working, so I'll leave them at the moment. Why do I hate them? I hate them because when I'm trying to get in here and let's say I click on this particular like bolted devil strand and it's not underneath the block. Hold on a second. Remove that little spot there. If I click on this bolted devil strand and there's other bolts of devil strand in here, when I click on it, it's going to pick it up. Just like if I click on this, it tells me there's multiples. If I try to click on something that's on a shelf, it doesn't always let me click on the thing. Of course it does it right now because I'm trying to do an example. So thanks, game. But like most of the time when I try to click on something, it won't actually show me. And like when you've got like a storage room, like the purple area down the bottom on that map is a storage area, and I had stuff on the shelves and I had stuff on the floor, whereas opposed to, I don't think we got past the storage area, but those big like center square-ish areas were storage. And I think like you can see it on the ground there in like the more rosy colored tiles in the center diamonds. They are floor storage and shit. And I could just go up to an area and be like, hey, cool, how many of these do I have? And I could click on it immediately and get it. Whereas sometimes when I click on these, sometimes I'll get it. Sometimes I'll get the fucking thing. If I'm trying to click on the fucking, at the moment I'm actively trying to click on the fucking shelf behind it to try